Hi. This is part 3 of The Laughing Muslim. I'll continue it here. Okay. Aren't the Torah and Injil in the book Bible? If not, then where is the Torah and Injil and Psalms the Qur'an talks of? And what are the before scriptures? You are to go and ask those who have read them if you are in doubt about the Qur'an. See 1094. Oh, and what are the books? Qur'an 4 verse 136 is talking about if it's not the Bible. Good question. Where is it? The Bible scholars are all in agreement that what we have now are just the copy of the original Torah and Injil and Zabur, and such contains mistakes and even addendums and personal biases of those Bible writers and copiers. Think of this. Jesus never spoke Greek, but why are the Gospels all written in Koine, not classical Greek, and the Gospels were not written, and not even written by his disciples? Gee, that's telling. So, why obey Qur'an 5 verse 68 and 1094 if the Bible is not the Torah and Injil the Qur'an is talking about? And if the Bible is not the book that makes people a book, well, where is that book? Good question. The Qur'an is referring to the original Torah and Injil. Think of these points. 1. The Pentateuch books are not written by Moses, so how come it become the Torah? Though it contains some teachings of Moses, still it's not the Torah of Moses. 2. The Gospels are not written by Jesus, neither of his disciples. So how can it be the Injil? Though it contains in part some of Jesus' teaching, still it is not the Injil. Simple. So, all those Quranic scriptures of Torahs and Injils are what? Why is the Quran sent? Okay. Think of this. Why is the Quran sent down? Simple. To collect the alteration made by the Jews. To remind the Christians of the true message of Jesus. The Quran is the confirmation of the former revelations. It is the complete and final message. So why would you follow an altered book, an incomplete book? That would not make sense. How can it confirm the Bible? How can it confirm the Bible if the Bible is corrupted? If the Torah and Injil are corrupted, why stand firm upon them? Why come to me for my reading them if you are in doubt about the Quran? See 1094. It says stand by the law and gospel, not on the Bible. Oh my God, I said 1094 talked about the Prophet Muhammad and the people of his time. Why would you insist yourself? I cannot understand. Why you cannot understand the simple explanation I gave you? So, it's only in Muhammad's time, true? If so, then the book, or before scriptures, weren't corrupted by then, true? Again, the one to be checked is the message about the compassion of Allah to the Jews as mentioned in verse 93. Of course, common sense will tell us that the Jews would never deny such a thing. Why was it unknown to the Prophet? Simply because he was an Arab and the Arabs were not Jews. So they would not know such a thing. The verse does not say anything about no corruption at all. The answer to the corruption is in Quran 5:13 through 14 and Jeremiah 8:8 of the Bible itself. And if Jeremiah 8:8 is talking about the Bible, not just people who corrupt, say, a copy of the Bible, or they write something and say it's the Bible, then why obey Quran 5 verse 68, Quran 1094, and Quran 4 verse 136? And if it's all the Bibles who have been corrupted that Jeremiah 8:8 is talking about, not just, say, a copy, then isn't the Qur'an a lie for saying all his words can't be corrupted? No, you are really confused. The Qur'an is the confirmation of the original uncorrupted Torah and Injil, not the confirmation of the corrupted text. This is so simple. If so, again, then the Torah and Injil were fine in the time of the handing down of abrogating Qur'an 2 verse 106, true? I mean, if not, then why obey Qur'an 5 verse 68, 1094, and 4 136? Also, if they were corrupted after the handing down of Qur'an 2 verse 106, since the Qur'an says it's a confirmation reminder of that which went before it, well, hasn't the Qur'an become a lie for saying all his words can't be corrupted? I tell you, I have a theory where those original copies of the Injils could be. Have you heard about the burning of books done by the church for centuries? How many books were burned by Constantine alone in 312 AD? Thousands! And yet you do not even ask where were those books. And you asked us, Muslims, to provide the book that you Christians most surely had burned forever? Gee, that's totally illogical. If so, how come Qur'an 2 verse 106 didn't kick in to say don't stand firm upon the Torah and Injil? Why obey Qur'an 5 verse 68, 1094, and 4 136? The handing down of Qur'an 2 verse 106 was almost 300 years after such corruption, if all his words were corrupted in 312, that is. Read Qur'an 5, 13 through 14. The Qur'an says that the Torah was altered by the Jews and the Christians forgot the message of the gospel. And how true! Instead of focusing the worship of one God, you made God into three in one, like modern day gadget. No need for Torah and gospel. We have the Qur'an, the complete book that confirms the former revelations. That's how simple it is. If so, why believe Qur'an 568? Why believe Qur'an 1094 and 4 130 and Qur'an 4 verse 136? And why believe in the Qur'an when it says all his words can't be changed or altered? If the Injil and Torah have been changed and altered, how come? Well, how come Qur'an 2 verse 106 never kicked in to abrogate all the scriptures of the Qur'an, saying it confirms that which went before it, the Bible? How come? Take these points. Take these points. 1. The verse was addressing the prophet. You were already alive at the time. Were you already alive at the time of the prophet? Ha 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 ha. 2. It says Kir-Aon, meaning those two words, mean those who read. And we know that at the time, only those people who can read Hebrew and Greek were able to read the scriptures. So a Bible thumper like you is out of the scene. Ha ha ha. Where does it say all that in the Quran? Where does it say that only those who know original Greek and Hebrew? You know? Where does it say that? The question is, what word of God is being talked about here in 634, 115? Obviously, you do not read in context. You do with the Quran what you do in the Bible. Quote a verse and interpret it to suit your twisted reasoning. And that is disgusting. To understand verse 34, you have to consider verse 33. It says, quote, "We know that you, Muhammad, are saddened by what they, the unbelievers, say. And indeed, they do not call you, and indeed, they do not call you untruthful, but it is the verses of Allah that the wrongdoers reject." How does that mean all his words can be changed and contradict the verses that say all his words can't be changed? Oh my God! I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised why until now you are still a believer of a triune God like the Hindus and Brahmin and ancient Egyptians. You cannot understand simple explanation. I have already dissected the verses one by one for you, and yet you do not understand. 'Tis so sad indeed. Which one did you dissect? If you read the verse with common sense, you can understand the following. 1. The prophet was sad because the unbelievers rejected his message and thus called him untruthful. 2. The unbelievers actually did not reject the prophet in the true sense, but God's verses. Question. What was that message? The verses of Allah that the prophet brought, which the wrongdoers rejected? Was it the Torah? Was it the Injil? Was it the Book of Mormons? It was the Qur'an. Gee, I wonder why they rejected the Qur'an. Not. Gee, common sense. Many people just can't handle the truth if presented to them. Just like you, no matter how many times you are proven wrong, and your belief as illogical, you still stick to them. You are like the Pharisees in Jesus' time. They rejected Jesus because they thought they had the truth. And in this time, you reject Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, because you believe you have the truth. But guess what? Millions are coming to Islam and discovering the truth. How's that? How am I proven wrong? How am I proven wrong? How? So, if you read verse 34, it becomes clear that it talks about Quran. The same with verse 115. Verse 114 talks about the Quran, and thus verse 115 talks about the Quran. The Quran is the one that that cannot be altered. It is so common sense. This is simple grammar consideration. Read in context, you Bible thumper. Read the whole chapter, or even the whole book, so that you can understand the meaning and context. Do not just read verse here and there. And trust the meaning. If it's only the Quran that can't be altered, then why stand firm upon the Torah and Injil? See Quran 5:68. Why come to me for my reading the before scriptures if you're in doubt about the Quran? See 1094. Why heed Quran 4, verse 136. I think I'll continue this on another tape.